What's up, preppers? Welcome back to another video. We're going to be talking about the UK defence budget. Now, I said I wouldn't bring you loads of news, but obviously the way things are, then this is a case of it does affect the way we prep. So that's when I said I'd talk to you. Right, the article I found, the news article, that's a recent one. It was on Sky News and it was regarding the GDP. Obviously, we've just had our budget in the UK. According to a group of MPs in the UK has no credible plan to buy all the weapons it needs after a huge jump in the cost of nuclear deterrent helps to create a record funding gap. The Public Accounts Committee says there's a 16.9 billion in a rolling 10-year plan to get equipment for the Army, Royal Navy and Royal Air Force. On closer inspection, this is going to be closer to double that, with over 30 billion. That's if we are to address all the capabilities that are actually required by the Army. So this means that the powers that be will now have to look at what equipment programs would have to be cancelled to make up this shortfall. Dame Meg Hiller, the chair of the Public Accounts Committee, said, "In an increasing volatile world, the Ministry of Defence's lack of credible plan to deliver a fully funded military capability as desired by the government leaves us in an alarming place." And then went on to say, "We're disappointed that not only the same problems we're seeing on display here, but are also appear to be getting worse." So, any chance of making up this ground has been scuppered by a huge 38.2 billion rise in funding over the same period for the Defence Nuclear Organisation, which is in charge with renewing a fleet of nuclear-armed submarines. In real terms, our public defence spending has gone up by 11 billion to 50 billion total since the last spring budget. This is far from the wartime budget I was expecting, and it seems that the government is more interested in securing the people's votes in the next election than securing our country against the imminent threats. And of course, it's played off by the higher-ups as it's all fine. A Ministry of Defence spokesman said, "Our armed forces stand ready to protect the UK and leading contributor to NATO. We continue to defend our national interests and those of our allies. We are delivering the capabilities our forces need to significantly increasing spending on defence equipment to 288.6 billion over the next decade." Over the next decade. Just take note of that. That's not a single year's budget, that's over 10 years. Introducing a new procurement model to improve acquisition and confirming our aspiration to spend 2.5% GDP on defence. By maintaining part of our equipment plan and as uncommitted spend, we have the flexibility to better adapt to changing technologies and emerging threats. Sounds very scripted to me, that one. So, 2.5% GDP, 50 billion we're spending, apparently. The numbers are all over the place. So, let's take a look at the numbers. This is a list of countries' GDPs. This is it in 2022, created by CIPRI Military Expenditure Database. Obviously, Ukraine's at the top with 34% GDP. That's closer to a wartime budget that you'd expect to see. Followed by Saudi Arabia, 7.4, Qatar, 7, Oman, 5.2, Algeria, 4.8. Now, although some of these percentages are high, the actual billion pounds spent, or $1 billion spent, sorry, is low because their entire budget is that, 100% is nowhere near our 100%. So take into mind the spending dollars that are to the left of them. Israel's 4.5, Kuwait 4.5, Russia 4.1, spending 86.4 billion in 2022. Watch how much that changes. We keep going down. I mean, United States is the biggest one. Spend wise in the $1 billion, it's 877, it's a 3.5%. We're all the way down at 2.2%, spending 68.5 billion in 2022. Now, if we have a look at the 2024 edition of the Military Balance from the International Institute of Strategic Studies, so this is 2 years later, United States spending, I know this hasn't got the percentage on, but the GDP's, you know, most countries will stay about the same. They'll up them when they need to, like Ukraine did. But GDP for United States would be about the same, but the United States spending $905 billion, China 407, Russia 294.6, up in 2 years from 86.4. That's insanity. India 73.6, and then where they're United Kingdom 73.4. So it sounds like a lot of money, and we're fifth in the list, I suppose, there. But when it comes to the percentage of our budget, it's just insanity. So I'm just like anyone else in this country, and the cost of living is crippling us. But to me, it's all our own doing. I find it hard to understand that the most taxed nation in the world is still struggling to find its healthcare and military funding, yet we can spend billions on the arts and ridiculous luxuries like that. I assure you, the latest modern art installation on some random roundabout will not help you when you have no power left in your home or when the enemy is at the gates. To me, this government's priorities are all wrong, and all this does for me is increase my need to prep and encourage my view to emigrate somewhere that is not run by a liquidation government bleeding this country and its citizens dry. Let's think about this. So when one of the world's threats is developing hypersonic missiles to new levels and potentially weapons in space one day, we're left with a 30-year-old misfiring submarines as our main nuclear deterrent. Crazy. Let me know if you think that the latest 2% cut in national insurance is worth the risk that's hanging over our country more and more each day. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below what you think. And I will see you all, hopefully, in the next video. Bye.